Before we get started, I'd like to observe a moment of silence to honor Adams County Deputy Keith Gum. Our flags are once again at half staff.
Commissioner Baker, I'm sorry. I need you to start over. The mics aren't on.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you.
So I'm calling to order the public meeting of January 30th, 2018. And before we get started, I want to observe a moment of silence to honor Adams County Deputy Heath Gum. And our flags are again at half staff. Let's have a moment of silence. Thank you. To my left is County Attorney Ron Carl. To my far right is Jolene Sanchez, the Assistant Clerk to the Board. Ms. Sanchez, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Jackson? Here. Commissioner Holland?
Here.
Commissioner Sharp?
Here.
Commissioner Conti?
Good morning, Jolene.
Good morning. Commissioner Baker?
Here. Commissioner Holland, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Carl, are there any modifications to the agenda today?
There are no modifications to the agenda.
I would accept a motion to adopt the items on the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Conti and seconded by Commissioner Sharp. All in favor? Aye. We have one set of meeting minutes to approve today. It was from January 9th, and Commissioner Holland was absent and excused on that day. Are there any questions or concerns about those minutes? If not, I would accept a motion to approve. Second. Motion made by Commissioner Jackson and seconded by Commissioner Sharp. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
And so we have 4 votes to approve and 1 abstention. This is the time where we open up for any citizen comments. If there's any citizens here that would like to address the board on any item that's not on the agenda, please make yourself known to me. Seeing none, we'll close the citizen comment period. And I would accept a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda.
I so move.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Holland and seconded by Commissioner Conti. All in favor? Aye. That motion passes unanimously. We have 1 public hearing, 1 general business item, and 1 public hearing. The county attorney for this matter will be Bob Hill, Senior Assistant County Attorney. And Mr. Hill, would you set the foundation for us?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This SDP, Specific Development Plan, has been noticed in accordance with the Land Development Code by posting the property, mailing the adjacent properties, and publication in the Villager. The board has jurisdiction to proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Our presenter this morning is Bill Skinner, Senior Planner, Public Works and Development. Good morning, Mr. Skinner.
Morning, Commissioners. Bill Skinner for the Planning Division. Application Z17003. It's a specific development plan that can take the 2 forms in our adopted PUD planned unit development process. It's a process the county brought online April 1st of this year. This is one of the earlier ones in it, but not the first. In this case, this plan is functioning as zoning more than a site plan. So staff will be processing a detailed administrative site plan after we speak to the board today, provided it gets an approval. So Z17003 is a specific development plan that is requesting a 3-story walk-up style storage unit that the applicant will be able to explain in much greater detail after I get finished. It's located at 16606 East Smoky Hill Road, and I'm going to go to the board summary report real quick because I think it does the best job of summing it up. Galloway Company, on behalf of the owner, Public Storage Company, is requesting approval of this specific development plan. This SDP proposes a 3-story indoor self-storage building with a 44,131 square foot footprint on a 4.23 acre lot. The SDP we have in front of us today, again, functioning as zoning, is an evolution of the underlying plan, which was first put in place, approved by the board in 1987, was amended in 2003. That plan has 2 lots in it, both commercial lots. One went into self-storage, had self-storage uses approved, a more, I think one people are familiar with over time, the drive-up single-car garage door style, 1-story. There was a second lot, which was approved for a variety of automotive maintenance uses. Those never came to fruition, but the self-storage uses have been an up-and-going concern ever since. It was the stability of that use that really caught my attention, the fact that it's been there and continues to be there. It's well maintained, it continues to operate. My own observations, and again, we can ask the applicant about this again, the model of self-storage out in the community has changed somewhat from these garage door style units to these office building style walk-up units. What they're proposing to do is come into this lot that hasn't developed out as intended and install this newer storage use on that. Today, largely what we're concerned with is, do we think that kind of a storage use on that lot is a good idea? Staff went through our usual process, compared it to the comprehensive plan, compared it to the land development code, compared it to the underlying preliminary development plan, found it ticked all the boxes on all of those. Staff recommendation is for approval. We took it to the Planning Commission, and they voted 6-0 with 1 absent and approved for a motion of approval that we brought forward to the board, or for a recommendation for approval that we've brought forward to the board. I did have some questions yesterday from one commissioner. Would they care to discuss that?
Yes.
Thank you. So a question came up during the initial review. The fire department said that they had some comments about the second point of access. The applicant's team at Galloway and the applicant went right out to them, had a number of conversations that staff were not privy to about the how to resolve that. There are some emails back and forth. Those were all forwarded to me yesterday, and I went back to the fire department, and the end result was an email from Amanda Sylvia, the reviewer for the South Metro Fire Department, who says, we've got this worked out. We have no further concerns. And we'll enter that into the case file.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jackson.
Thank you. I had 2 questions. That was one of them. And the other one was on the next page from ECCV, the water department, and it says, has the developer coordinated with the appropriate, that the hydrants belong to 2 different agencies, the ECCV and Aurora Water, and apparently there's some confusion around who's supplying the water. Has that been worked out?
It has. Yeah, the details of which agency ended up with that responsibility for some reason and just blanked on it, but we can ask. But I do know I've seen correspondence that says that is resolved.
Commissioner Sharp.
Thank you. So, Mr. Skinner, everybody getting to my questions, so thank you. I only have 2 others. And that is the city of Aurora had some concerns, and can you address what those are, or if those were, that's what's said in the BSR. And the only other thing was, it didn't seem like there were any, this is a more industrial area, so it didn't seem like that there were any citizen concerns with the 3 stories. I don't think that anybody would be concerned about the storage, but the height in that area.
Okay, fair questions. City of Aurora had some, they forwarded, boiled down really to 2 issues. One was off lot and not a part of this review. The other one was on lot, and We'll check with Jeff real quick just to make sure I've got this right, but it dealt with improvements around was it a bus stop, Jeff? Yeah, around the bus stop. And they've addressed that and taken that to heart and responded to the comments, which they could respond to the off-lot property they don't have any control over.
Okay.
The surrounding area immediately west is high school's bus storage yard, and then the school. The school itself is as tall as this building, I believe. Across the street, we have a 2-story office building, but it appears to have tall ceilings or a high parapet. It's approximately the same height, and then there's commercial retail northwest of the site and commercial retail southeast of the site. There wasn't any residential abutting or really coming even close to abutting to have a concern. We reached out to everyone within our appropriate catchment area, and not a single citizen comment, not a phone call or an email. I was kind of surprised.
That's good. Yeah. And it looked like that it was appropriate for the area, and I appreciate knowing that citizens did not, they were requested for comment, but they didn't have any comments. So great. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Any other questions for Mr. Skinner? If not, then we'll have the applicant come forward with their presentation.
Okay, I think we're going to have Dan from Public Storage.
Dan from Public Storage. If you'd state your name and address for the record.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Dan Matula. I'm Vice President of Development with Public Storage, and my office address is 1713 Abilene in Aurora. And very happy and excited to be here this morning to get an opportunity to present this project here. It is, we look at it as not only an expansion of a very successful existing property, but also a true repositioning of not only the asset, but also a reimaging of the front of the property. As Bill mentioned, this approximately 0.8 acre lot has been vacant since the time the storage facility was built, and really no other uses have come to fruition. We have decided we'd like to again kind of redevelop and reimage this property, expand it, add some new state-of-the-art storage product to it to complement the existing storage. So the idea is to develop that piece of property. We're also tearing down two of the buildings to make way for the larger footprint. So you'll have the 3-story building will be up on Smoky Hill, and then the drive-up buildings will be in the back. And I'm here tonight, or this morning, with Zell Cantrell and Jeff Weeder from Galloway. I'm going to give you a quick overview of who Public Storage is, in case many of you probably don't know who we are, and then I'll let them talk in more detail about our proposed project. So Public Storage was founded in 1972. We're a $37 billion market cap. We're the highest rated real estate company and the 3rd largest REIT in the United States. And not too many people know that. I didn't know that until I went to work for Public Storage. But we're the largest self-storage company in the world, with over 1 million customers and over 2 million square feet of storage in over 2,400 properties worldwide. We've been doing this for a long time. We know what we're doing. We're a long-term holder of real estate. We don't sell. We own and operate all of our own facilities, and when they get old enough, then we tear them down and rebuild them. We have again a national platform across the country and also in Western Europe, and then a significant operating platform here in the Denver, Colorado market. We've got 52 properties existing in the Denver market. We've got 2 in the Fort Collins area and another 12 down in Colorado Springs. In addition to that, right now we have 3 new developments under construction. One in Broomfield, one in Parker, and one in the city of Denver. We've got another 2 new developments that were, still in the development process. One in Colorado Springs, another one in Arvada, and then I've got 8 redevelopments of existing facilities that I'm working on here in Denver, 7 of them here in Denver and an additional one in Colorado Springs. So we're very active in both new development and, in redeveloping, some of our older existing properties that either are ready to be redeveloped, or maybe they have also maybe additional land or parking lots or that type of stuff. With that, I'd like to turn the presentation over to my consultants unless any of you have any specific questions for me, and otherwise I'm also available, at any point in time.
I don't see any questions, so that'd be great. And again, if you would state your name and address for the record, please.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zell Cantrell, and I'm with Galloway. We're located at 6162 South Willow Drive in Greenwood Village, and we're a architecture, planning, and engineering firm. Then, as Dan already indicated, Jeff Weeder is also joining me this afternoon. So, in an effort not to duplicate the good presentation from Bill and Dan, I'll try and move through this really quickly, and if we have any questions at the end, feel free to chime in. So the existing site is located here. As Bill indicated earlier, it's located between the Cherry Creek School District at the bus area. We called it a bus barn, but I think it's more of a maintenance and storage facility. And then there's the existing shopping center directly to the east that's anchored by the Walmart. And I believe that used to be, I think that was originally an Albertsons developed shopping center. The site consists of 2 different lots totaling 4.23 acres. And then there's one access drive that will remain existing right there on the Smoky Hill. And just to give you a little bit of site context, this aerial image here, you can see the retail center directly to the north. There's that multi-story office building that Mr. Skinner alluded to the northeast. And then a little bit further east, you can see the tallest structures in the area, which are those existing water tanks that are at the northwest corner of Smoky Hill and Buckley. And in this image, you can once again see the school bus maintenance facility there directly west of the site, as well as the shopping center with the auto care facility, as well as the fast food restaurant directly to the east. In this aerial image, you can see to the left the existing 2-lot configuration, which includes the existing 73,000 square feet of the single-story drive-up style units, which are located on Lot 1. And then Lot 2 is currently vacant. It may be recognizable because I think there was a seasonal fireworks stand there from time to time. And then we've also identified 2 complete buildings that will be demolished that are immediately adjacent to Lot 2. And then we're going to demolish a portion of that most westerly building to accommodate the new building. That totals about 23,000 square feet of existing storage. And then in the right, you can see the combined lot development, which includes a new 132,000 3-story climate-controlled facility with the frontage on Smoky Hill, and then there'll be about 50,000 square feet of existing units to remain, which are down here at the back of the site, and then along the property that's shared with the school district's bus maintenance facility. And just to throw everybody off a little bit, we oriented this one different. So north is to the left, but this is we can get a little bit better image here. But you can see the multi-story building there with the frontage on Smoky Hill, as well as the remaining single-story buildings there on the western property line at the bottom, and then also the single-story buildings to remain at the back. As I indicated earlier, access to the site will remain here with this existing shared access drive that's shared with the school district property here, as well as the shopping center and then the existing public storage. And then finally, just a quick view of the exterior elevations. This north elevation is the elevation that you'd see from Smoky Hill. And then on the bottom, you see the south elevation. That would be interior to the site. And that includes the main office area here, which is at the southeast corner of the building. And then also the access to the storage units here, kind of in the middle of the building. And then finally, the east elevation on top, which shows you Again, the office is kind of at the back of the building, and then the west elevation, which would be the elevation that would face Cherry Creek School Maintenance Facility. And then we've got a perspective here to kind of wrap things up, the view across Smoky Hill Road, and you can see the existing facility today here in the upper right-hand corner, the proposed facility here, and just for a little bit of reference, you can kind of see the end of those existing garage-style storage units that will remain. So with that, we're available for questions or clarifications as needed. Thank you.
Questions for Mr. Cantrell? Commissioner Sharp.
I think maybe I missed it. The access issues that the fire department was talking about. I know there's one access there, but weren't they looking for a second?
They are.
Access?
So yeah, that's a little bit confusing. So that's a good point to clarify. So there is one single shared access out on Smoky Hill, and the way it exists today, right now the only access into public storage is right here, but we will provide a secondary access here in the future, and this shared access road goes all the way to the back, all the way connects the Cherry Creek. They have some kind of a maintenance or storage facility there at the back of the site. And so while the access off of Smoky Hill will remain as is, there will be two access points into the public storage property in the future for fire.
And when you say in the future, what does that mean?
When we redevelop, there'll be an additional emergency access only gate back there. There'll be like a Knox box so that they can access it in case of emergency.
Okay, so when this building is finished with this completion, that's when that access will
Correct.
go in.
Yep.
Okay. The only other comment I wanted to make is that I think with respect to public storage, I think that this particular industry's come a long way from how it used to look in the past, and now going into a lot of places in cities that and the facades and everything are with landscaping and that kind of thing really upgrade, I think, this property. So appreciate that. Thank you. I think I'm looking for that. I think we need to make sure that things that are commercial fit into the environment are going to look nice for that environment and preserve the character of the environment for a long time. And so I like the look of this. Sometimes, some of the commercial or it's not really industrial, but more commercial areas like this or buildings like this may not have that great look. So thank you. Appreciate it.
I have one question. With my background in facilities management, can you talk about compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act moving from a single story to a multiple story?
Yeah, so all three stories are served by two different elevators. Depending on the size of the building, sometimes there's multiple lobbies. In this case, there's one single entry lobby, and then you have access to all three floors.
Excellent.
Through that. Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to open this up for public comment. If there's anyone that would like to address us on this issue, make yourself known. Did we have anyone sign up to speak today? No. There was no one that signed up to speak, so I'll close public comment. And I would entertain a motion. Commissioner Sharp.
Mr. Chairman, let me increase the size of this so I can read it a little better. In the case of Z17-003, Public Storage on Smoky Hill Road Specific Development Plan, I have reviewed the staff report, including all exhibits and attachments, and have listened to the applicant's presentation and any public comment as presented at the hearing, and hereby move to approve this application based on the findings in the staff report, subject to the following conditions. And there's one condition. The only condition is prior to signature of the final Mylar copy of the specific development plan, the applicant shall address the Planning Division, Mapping Division, Zoning Division, and Engineering Services Division comments and concerns as outlined in their reports. And I just will add that several of the things that we've talked about, they could be added just to make sure that we have the comments from the fire department included in our documentation, and anything else that we've talked about this morning, just make sure that's included in the documentation. And that's my motion. I'll ask for a second.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Sharp and seconded by Commissioner Conti. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Seeing none, that motion passes unanimously. Are there any commissioner comments this morning? Seeing none, our meeting is adjourned.
Yeah.